On November 28th, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a motion stating anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. On November 24th, the National Post featured an article headlining, "Don't be fooled, anti-Zionism is just anti-Semitism rebranded." It is not. These efforts to paint anti-Semitism as anti-Zionism are not about challenging anti-Semitism at all. They are part of a drive to silence growing solidarity with Palestinians in the midst of Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. This marks an escalation of anti-Palestinian racism and a violation of freedom of expression. Anti-Semitism is a serious threat, and fighting it without compromise is critical, but anti-Semitism cannot be challenged if its meaning is trivialized or distorted. Anti-Semitism is a term that has multiple meanings. One key meaning is anti-Jewish racism, the meaning I'm drawing upon here. Another unhelpful meaning, forwarded by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism, falsely equates criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. The term anti-Semitism is certainly problematic, but it's the language we have. It was coined originally in 1873 by a German journalist committed to opposing legal emancipation of Jews. And it originally falsely distinguished between Aryan and Semite linguistic groups, eliminating Arabic linguistic groups from Semitic, quote-unquote, origins. Anti-Zionism, however, is not in any way the same as anti-Semitism. In fact, Zionism, anti-Zionism, non-Zionism have been discussed and debated in the Jewish community for decades. There are certainly some anti-Semitic movements, including white nationalists, who use the term Zionism as a place saver for Jews and as an object of hate, as they use and appropriate many different terms. But it is absolutely not the rise of white nationalism that has provoked US Republicans and right-wing Canadian pundits to object to anti-Zionism. Zionism has taken multiple forms historically. Some interpreted biblical verse to mean a spiritual home for Jews. But the dominant form of Zionism today is political Zionism, or what I term really existing Zionism. Zionism is the founding and ongoing ideology of all the main political parties in the state of Israel. The premise is that Jews can only live in peace, free of anti-Semitism, if they are away from non-Jews in an ethnically defined nation state. But Zionism in any form is not the same as Jewish identity, culture, theology, or religion. And prior to the Holocaust, Zionism was a minority view in the international Jewish community. Instead, most Jewish communities strive to challenge anti-Jewish racism the way oppressed people have continuously challenged oppression, linking arms in common cause with others to fight for fundamental social change where they live, love, and work together. But liberal democratic states offered no safe haven for Jews. States like Canada and the United States blatantly refused to accept Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi Germany. Many Jews looked to socialism. In 1897, for example, a Congress of Jewish Socialists in the Bund was organized, which was anti-Zionist, distinct from the first Zionist Congress that was organized in the same year. And in this tradition, Jewish communities advocated for a different view of emancipation, sometimes termed Doichheit, Yiddish for here-ness. But socialist states also failed Jews, adapting to violent anti-Jewish racism. In 1948, when the State of Israel was established, taking the name from the biblical Old Testament, the Jewish population globally had been decimated. Those surviving World War II were desperate to find a way to imagine a life of peace and safety. And in this moment of extreme despair, Zionism came to fill the vacuum. But this was a state founded as a colonizing project. Some participated knowingly, others did not, but the outcome was the same. Israel originated as an ethnically defined Jewish state, not a state of all its citizens, regardless of race or religion. And this apartheid orientation has been reaffirmed repeatedly, including as recently as Israel's Basic Law of 2018. This was a land many of us knew in Hebrew school. What we were told, it was empty, a desert, brought to bloom only by Jewish immigration and settlement. But this was not and is not true. This was not terra nullius, literally territory without a master or empty land. The land of historic Palestine comprised a productive society among a diverse population that included a majority of indigenous Muslim and Christian Palestinians, as well as some Mizrahi Jews and some Ashkenazi Jews. The Nakba, Arabic for catastrophe, marks the moment of occupation, ethnic cleansing, and displacement in 1948. This was not only an historic event, it continued, including in 1967 and beyond, tragically reaching the present-day genocide against the people of Gaza. Zionism, from the standpoint of its victims, as Edward Said teaches us, was and is about colonial violence and dispossession. But if Zionism was once believed by some to promise a safe haven for European and international Jewish life, surely it has failed. So let's choose Doichheit and strive for shared peace and solidarity where we are, wherever we are, in our collective here-ness. Thank you.